Welcome back to Mihiraa Healthcare English Podcast, your go-to podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Flins, and today we have an incredible guest joining us. Dr. Mihiraa is a renowned neurologist and expert in brain function, specializing in how our mindset can shape not only our mental health but our ability to achieve success in life. Today, we'll be diving into a fascinating topic: believe in yourself and maintain a positive attitude to succeed in life. Welcome, Dr. Mihiraa.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm excited about today's topic.
Let's get right into it. Believe in yourself. It sounds like something we hear all the time, but from a neurological perspective, why is self-belief so powerful? Dr. Mihiraa, what's happening in our brain when we start to believe we can succeed?
Great question. When we talk about self-belief, we're really talking about a network of brain regions working together to form what we call a positive self-schema. The prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for higher-order thinking and decision-making, plays a key role in regulating how we perceive ourselves and our abilities. When you believe in yourself, your brain essentially creates neural pathways that reinforce that belief. The more you practice positive thinking, the stronger these neural pathways become, making it easier to feel confident and capable. It's like training your brain to recognize that you can achieve your goals.
So, it's literally a form of brain training. That's incredible. But Dr. Mihiraa, what about when we doubt ourselves or focus on negative outcomes? How does that impact our brain's ability to help us succeed?
Yes. Self-doubt and negative thinking activate the amygdala, which is responsible for processing fear and anxiety. When we're caught up in negative thoughts, the amygdala becomes hyperactive, and this can make us feel overwhelmed or paralyzed, which inhibits the prefrontal cortex from making rational decisions. Essentially, self-doubt creates mental barriers. But here's the good news: just as negative thoughts can limit us, positive thoughts can liberate us. By consciously focusing on self-belief and maintaining a positive attitude, you can essentially quiet that fear response and strengthen the areas of the brain that promote resilience and problem-solving.
That makes sense. It seems like it's not just about thinking positively for the sake of it, but actually rewiring your brain to be more resilient and focused. But what about people who say, "I'm just not a positive person," or "I'm too realistic to think like that"? Dr. Mihiraa, is positivity something we can actually develop, or are some people just wired differently?
It's true that some people may have a predisposition toward a more cautious or even pessimistic outlook, and that can be influenced by both genetics and early life experiences. However, the brain is incredibly adaptable. We call this neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change and form new connections. Positivity isn't something you're born with or without. It's a skill you can cultivate. Small habits, like practicing gratitude or challenging negative thoughts, can rewire your brain over time. You're training your brain to focus on what can go right, rather than fixating on what might go wrong. This, in turn, builds your resilience, allowing you to bounce back from setbacks more easily.
Wow, that's empowering. So, by working on our mindset, we're not just improving our mental state but physically changing our brain. Now, how does this tie into success, Dr. Mihiraa? Can a positive attitude alone lead someone to success?
While a positive attitude is crucial, it's not a magic fix on its own. What a positive attitude does is open the door to opportunities by keeping you motivated and persistent. When you believe in yourself and approach challenges with optimism, you're more likely to take risks, persevere through setbacks, and ultimately, succeed. From a neurological standpoint, this has to do with how positivity and self-belief impact your dopamine levels. Dopamine is often called the reward chemical because it makes you feel good when you achieve something. When your brain gets a hit of dopamine after a success, whether big or small, it reinforces the behavior that led to that success. This creates a cycle of motivation and positive reinforcement, pushing you to keep going.
So positivity keeps the momentum going.
Exactly. Positivity keeps you in the game when things get tough. It's not about ignoring challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It's about seeing setbacks as temporary and surmountable. That mindset keeps your brain primed for creative problem solving and persistence.
That's such a helpful way to think about it. But let's talk about setbacks. How can someone who's going through a rough patch maintain that positive attitude? What strategies would you suggest, Dr. Mihiraa?
I think one of the most important things is to acknowledge the setback without letting it define you. Self-compassion is key here. From a neurological standpoint, when you criticize yourself harshly, you activate the same brain regions as when you feel physical pain, so you're actually making it harder to bounce back. Instead, try focusing on what you can control. That might mean setting smaller, achievable goals to regain a sense of progress, or practicing mindfulness to bring your focus back to the present moment. Even visualizing your past successes can help because it triggers the same brain areas as actually achieving success. It's a reminder to your brain that you can do it.
That's a great tip, visualization and small wins. Dr. Mihiraa, I imagine that ties in with building up those neural pathways of positivity over time.
Exactly. Every small win strengthens those positive neural pathways. You're essentially training your brain to expect success. Over time, this becomes your default way of thinking, and that's where the real power of self-belief comes in. It becomes part of who you are, not just something you have to consciously work at.
So the key takeaway here is that belief in yourself isn't just fluffy motivation. It's grounded in neuroscience. Dr. Mihiraa. We can literally rewire our brains to set ourselves up for success by practicing positivity and self-belief.
Yes. You have the power to reshape your brain's wiring. And when you combine self-belief with action, you become unstoppable. It's not about avoiding failure, it's about embracing it as part of the journey and knowing that your brain is adaptable enough to learn from it and grow stronger.
That's an amazing perspective. Dr. Mihiraa, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today. I know our listeners are going to take a lot from this conversation. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure discussing the science of belief and positivity.
All right, folks, that's all we have for today. Remember, success starts with believing in yourself and maintaining a positive attitude. You can rewire your brain to achieve your goals. Until next time, stay positive, keep pushing forward, and remember, you're capable of more than you think.
This has been The Mind Shift. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe and leave us a review. And if you want more tips on how to succeed, join us next week for another inspiring conversation. Have a great day, everyone.